The sun dipped low over the rugged expanse of the western plains, painting the sky with hues of amber and crimson. The wind whispered through the tall grass, carrying with it the earthy scent of the land and the faint aroma of wild sage. At the edge of a small, weathered ranch stood a man whose presence seemed carved from the very soil itself. His name was Cole Harding, a rancher whose life had been defined by hard work, solitude, and the relentless rhythm of the land. Years of tending cattle, mending fences, and riding the endless prairie had forged him into a man both resilient and cautious, someone who carried the weight of responsibility in his calloused hands and the quiet ache of loneliness in his heart. But today, as he leaned against the wooden railing of his porch, a sense of anticipation mingled with the cool evening air, a feeling he hadn't known in years. From the distant tree line emerged a figure, her silhouette catching the last light of the setting sun. She moved with a grace that seemed both natural and otherworldly, a rhythm attuned to the pulse of the earth itself. Her name was Nayeli, an Apache woman whose strength was matched only by the gentleness in her eyes. She carried the wisdom of her ancestors in the calm confidence of her movements, and yet there was an openness, a quiet curiosity in the way she observed the world. When her gaze met Cole's, it was as though the wind itself paused, holding its breath, acknowledging the spark between them. Cole straightened, a mixture of surprise and something unspoken crossing his rugged features. He had seen many travelers pass by his ranch over the years, but there was something different about Nayeli, something that unsettled and intrigued him in equal measure. Her presence seemed to hold a promise of connection he had long since forgotten was possible. As she approached, the air seemed to hum with an energy neither of them fully understood, a force that whispered of destiny and the intertwining of paths meant to meet. "Evening," Cole greeted, his voice steady but betraying a hint of curiosity. "Good evening," Nayeli replied, her tones soft yet certain. "I hope I'm not intruding." "Not at all," he said, gesturing toward the porch swing. "The land is always welcoming, though visitors, well, they're a different story." There was a wry humor in his eyes, but it softened as he watched her step closer. She smiled faintly, her gaze drifting over the expanse of his ranch. "It's beautiful and peaceful. I can see why you've chosen to stay here." Cole felt a warmth he couldn't explain as he nodded. "It is quiet, sometimes too quiet, but it's honest work, and the land takes care of you if you take care of it." His eyes met hers again, and for a fleeting moment, words failed him. There was an intensity in her presence that made him aware of every heartbeat, every unspoken thought he had buried under years of routine and solitude. They spent hours talking as the stars began to emerge, their conversation flowing effortlessly from stories of family and heritage to the small details of daily life on the ranch. Nayeli shared tales of her Apache roots, of the sacred traditions passed down through generations, and of the resilience required to honor one's identity in a world that often misunderstood it. Cole, in turn, spoke of his ranch, of the challenges of keeping the land alive, of the joy he found in the simplest of tasks. At some point, Nayeli's hand brushed against his as she pointed toward the horizon where the first stars glimmered. Cole felt a jolt of electricity, a connection that was as thrilling as it was terrifying. "You make this place feel safe," she said quietly, her voice almost a whisper, yet carrying the weight of truth. Cole's heart skipped a beat. He looked at her, the firelight from the porch lanterns casting dancing shadows across her face. "Safe," he repeated, almost incredulous. He had always been the protector, the one who ensured the safety of his land, his animals, and those who came to him in need. But to hear someone see him as a source of safety, it was a revelation that stirred something deep within him. "Yes," Nayeli said firmly, her eyes holding his. "With you, it feels like the world slows down, like nothing can harm me when you're here. You don't even realize it, do you?" Cole swallowed hard, feeling an emotion he hadn't named in years, something tender, something vulnerable, something profoundly human. I never thought anyone would see me that way," he admitted. the words catching in his throat. "I've always thought the land was my only companion." She shook her head gently, her hand resting over his. "It's not just the land, Cole, it's you. The way you care, the way you endure. It's rare, and it matters." The night deepened around them, and the quiet of the prairie enveloped them in its embrace. Coyotes howled in the distance, and the wind rustled the trees like a lullaby. For the first time in years, Cole felt the weight of loneliness lift, replaced by a warmth that seemed to settle in his chest. Nayeli's presence was magnetic, drawing him in, yet allowing him space to breathe, to feel, to hope. As the moon rose high above the horizon, casting silver light over the ranch, Cole realized something that had eluded him for a long time. Destiny, he thought, sometimes arrived quietly without warning, in the form of a stranger whose soul mirrored your own. And perhaps, just perhaps, it had chosen them both. Nayeli looked at him with a mixture of curiosity and certainty, as if sensing the thoughts that churned behind his stoic expression. "Do you believe in fate, Cole?" she asked softly. He paused, letting the question hang in the air like the stars above. "I don't know," he confessed. "But tonight, I think maybe fate isn't something you wait for. Maybe it's something that finds you when you least expect it." Her smile deepened, a quiet glow in the silvered night. "Then maybe it found us." Cole reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers, and in that simple touch, they both understood a truth that neither could fully articulate. The world was vast, unpredictable, and often harsh. But in this moment, there was safety, connection, and the unspoken promise of something extraordinary. And as the prairie wind continued to sing its timeless song, Cole and Nayeli sat together on the porch, two souls bound by an invisible thread, wondering how their paths had finally converged, and what destiny had in store for them next. The morning sun stretched over the ranch, casting golden light across the fields. Cole watched Nayeli move among the horses, her presence calm yet commanding, and felt a warmth that went beyond friendship. They had shared an unspoken connection the night before, a bond neither could ignore. Nayeli turned, her eyes meeting his, and smiled, a gesture that made the world feel steady. "Are you ready to face the day?" Cole asked, his voice soft. She nodded. "With you, yes." Together they tended the land, side by side, laughter and quiet conversations blending with the sounds of nature. Every glance, every touch, strengthened the invisible thread that had drawn them together. As evening fell, Cole wondered aloud, is this destiny or just luck? Nayeli's hand found his. Maybe it's both. But whatever it is, we face it together. Under the twilight sky, they felt an unspoken promise. Whatever storms might come, they would not face them alone. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel so you can watch more videos like this.